What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to another Tuffy Talk live show, y'all. We are here rolling once again, and so excited to be here with you all today. As you all know, if you've been here before, you know the drill. But make sure, again, if you haven't already, just send us a comment. Let us know, your thoughts, questions, concerns, whatever it may be, and we will get to them here today. Got myself, Lane Smith, Greg Legg, Michael Tracy, and Ken's Blackwater. Got her back with us with that awesome background, which we're so excited to see. Love it, and it definitely rivals Greg. Now we just need to get Michael to get some posters up on the wall or something like that.
Not Greg still has me beat. Definitely.
That's true.
It's not a contest.
I know. I gotta paint some walls and then put up the decor.
Yeah.
Ooh. Michael's coming in clutch when it happens though.
Well, now
it's just gonna look like it. It's gonna look like it looked before. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but now that you own the place, you can do whatever you want to do, right?
Right.
Yes. Maybe I'll just paint a mural on this wall instead of the painting I have.
Okay. All right. That's not bad. That's not bad.
It would be.
Comment below what you think Michael should do to his wall.
I mean, the options are endless for Michael.
They are.
Anyway, y'all. But again, we got Wolfpack Crazy already in the comments. Raised by the Wolves. Hope Dante Styles commits. We'll definitely talk a little bit about that.
Liked his visit. Insider information.
Who did? Who visited?
Dontrez liked his visit.
Oh yeah.
That was today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder where we got that inside information from, Ken.
Me.
Yeah. Insider right there. And then Nick saying, hope everyone's doing well. Thanks, Nick, for tuning in. Really do appreciate your support. But wanted to kind of go ahead and kind of get right at it a little bit here. So obviously, I think the biggest thing right now, the toughest thing right now is for NC State baseball, obviously now losing 3 series in a row to Miami, to Virginia, and now to Boston College. The kind of recap yesterday. So basically they had to postpone the Saturday game due to weather. So they had to play a doubleheader yesterday. Won the first game in the doubleheader pretty handily, but then in the second game, they were up 7-2 in the 6th. And then Boston College came back to tie it, went to extras. Boston College loaded the bases with only 1 out, and then a fly out to right field and actually slipped. I think actually the outfielder slipped, and then that was game.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
And definitely, I know that a lot of State fans are immediately going, because especially there was the comment about, hey, Wolfpack Crazy. Hey, we got to talk a little bit about it here, right? I mean, it's the elephant in the room. But immediately everybody started to kind of panic, talking about the out-of-conference schedule, talking about events, whatever it may be. Now, the out-of-conference, I mean, to me, it's still kind of, you could have made a case either way. You're sitting here now losing 3 series, and then there were opportunities during each of those series where State could have taken, the bull by the horns and, made the plays needed in order to get the series win, especially yesterday. I mean, being up 7-2 in the 6th, and then once it went to extras, it was basically all Boston College. And so to me, it's kind of like, damned if you, damned if you don't. I don't know. There's still a lot of baseball left. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about Avon here too. But I mean, Greg, what are your immediate thoughts? I mean, I feel like just this whole season so far has been, pitching has looked really good sometimes. They've looked really bad sometimes. Batting's looked really good sometimes, really bad sometimes. It's just never, they're just both never hitting at the same, or rolling at the same time.
Yeah,
in sync, exactly.
Well, I will say that starting pitching has not been the problem. Yesterday again, Dominic Fritton had another great game. Unfortunately, another no decision for him, but he leads the ACC in ERA just over, I think it's 105. Yeah, I thought it was just over 1. I just got some starting pitching here. Matt Willidson's at 2.08. You can't
argue that.
Yeah, no. Logan is your worst pitcher at 4.11, but that's not horrible, and he's 2-2. And so what the problem is kind of been on the back end, on the bullpen. Like, kind of like you said, some guys are, pitching really good one game, and then, you had some struggles. Sam had a little bit of a rough day yesterday, but I mean, I don't know, like, it feels like some of these guys have rough days, but then, you have, Sam threw like 2 two and a change on the second game, and you have Justin Lawson. He only gives up 1 run, but that's over 3 innings, so you can't be mad at that. So I don't know what it is exactly. Again, we still have some injuries. Win Scott just kind of came back from his injury, so he'll be hopefully getting in there some. And then you've got about another 2 or 3 pitchers that are still, that we're going to rely on heavily. Just haven't thrown a lot. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
Again, you said it early. It's still early. I mean, it's 3 series. I get it, but we still have another like 5 or 6 series to go, I think.
At least. Well, and the problem too is for NC State is that it doesn't get any easier. You have Louisville and Wake Forest coming up here soon. So, I think honestly the biggest thing for me has been Justin Lawson and Baker Nelson. Again, not to say it's because of these guys, but obviously Baker and Justin Lawson are guys that have experienced more Baker Nelson than Justin. But Justin Lawson has a 5.2 ERA, and then Baker Nelson has a 4.5. And especially yesterday, I think Baker Nelson came in and late, and he was a part of the Boston College comeback.
But he pitched really well on Friday. So
it's
consistency.
It's just consistency. Exactly.
The veterans are not impressing me. Groover is not impressing me. It's just the errors.
Groover's been rough.
The errors and the consistency is our only issue, and so
we'll
see if we can pick that up.
It's part of it too. Like some of these guys' ERAs are going to look still rough. I mean, they don't have a lot of appearances slash innings. So, not to make excuses, but it is what it is. I mean, numbers don't lie. I mean, you were talking about Baker Nelson. I mean, he's 4-1, so he has kind of a higher ERA, but he's 4-1. So, you can kind of overlook the ERA a little bit.
Well, but the only thing which I would look back at is how many of those wins were in the out of conference versus in conference. But but I hear what you're saying. Like at the end of the day, he's 4-1, so I get you there. So and honestly, for me too, it just goes back to like you were saying. Just we need more. Again, Peyton Green and Gino both have 4 errors. It's like, come on, guys. You guys are experienced college players. Like, we need you guys to step up and be those big times, especially because again, the ACC is so tough. It's so tough.
But errors weren't the reason we lost this weekend. So I get what you're saying. And
because the craziest thing is that we have seven batters hitting over 300 right now. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and then you were talking. Logan Whitaker makes 1 bad pitch on Friday. He gives up a 3-run home run, which is the difference. We lose 4-1. You take away that pitch. His ERA is lower. And here's the one thing I'll say too is go back to these ERAs. Logan Whitaker and I mean Dom has been dominant. Let's be real, but a lot of our starting pitchers are only going 4 or 5 innings. Yeah. So, when you only have 3-4 outings. That's 15, 20 innings. So if you give up 3 or 4 runs, your ERA is going to balloon. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. 100%. But anyway,
100%. Michael, Ken, anything to add to that?
It doesn't feel like State's been playing really bad though. Losing 3 straight series, it doesn't feel like they've been playing bad. It's just little things here and there, and that makes a difference.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating things that I think is making everybody the most mad. Yesterday, being up 7-2, we shouldn't. There's no reason we should lose that game. And if we're winning that much in the 6th, it's just the careless mistakes that they're making that I think is making everybody frustrated.
Yep. 100%.
I will also say, I mean, again, I mentioned the injuries on the pitching side. We still had 2 key hitters that are out with Candelaria and Souls, and you get those guys back. They're setting up the table. They're breaking runs in. They're doing all the things, but I will say on the flip side of that, you have guys like Chase Nixon who stepped up. I mean, he has really done a nice job over the last week to 10 days. He had a nice series yesterday. Had a 2-run double. He had like 3 or 4 RBIs yesterday in the 2 games combined. So you're getting guys that are getting some playing time that are stepping up. So with these injuries, maybe you can move some guys around that are hitting better than other guys. And then, you have guys coming off the bench, maybe as pinch hitters. So you're definitely giving Avent some options once we start to get fully healthy, hopefully, and hoping that is sooner rather than later.
And another guy, which kind of stands out to me looking at the stats here, Carter Trice is right now hitting 235. And I mean, for being as hyped of get as he was, freshman All-American out of Old Dominion,
Well, look at his home runs and RBIs, though. I mean, he's doing pretty good in those categories, and he's got a good on-base percentage. So average doesn't always tell the story.
True.
He's still getting on base.
True. Yeah, no, it's more of just again, freshman All-American, expect him to come in and really just kind of light it up, which, again, we've had Cannon Peoples who's absolutely lit it up as a freshman. So, I mean, I'm totally nitpicking here, but, I completely agree that it's just still too early. It's definitely not time to panic. And the biggest thing, which I want to say too, but this is kind of crazy to me, I want to talk a little bit about Avon here. Have y'all realized that Avon has now been to 7 ACC championship games and hasn't won a single one of them?
Yeah.
He's been to 7 championship games, 2001, 2003, 2006, 2010, 2015, 2021, 2022. And I literally looked it up. And because, again, the option is basically in a championship game, there's 2 teams that can win. And so basically we've lost 7 times.
50-50 shot.
So literally the odds is that is a 0.7% chance of happening. Like, that's crazy. Like, so to me, it's like, is it just incredibly bad luck, or is it like an issue? But the one thing which I will immediately say is this the only thing that I can say bad about Avon? That is the only thing.
I mean, if you look at this championship game this past season, I mean, 1 inning.
We had one bad inning.
Was the reason that we lost that game.
And I'll take you back even one further. When we lost to Duke, we lost 1-0.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's like they're close games, or like something that you have one bad inning and just can't recover from it. So it's not like we get blown out every championship game.
Well, because again, that 2021 team, I mean, that was a team that literally started every single game and was hitting lights out the whole season. Then all of a sudden, in the Duke game, they just went all of them went absolutely cold as ice.
Had a hot pitcher.
Yeah. So that's why, to me, it's just like, and Rusty says it right there, I don't want that to be Avon's legacy. And because that is the only thing that you could say bad about Avon.
He's also got 2 College World Series appearances. I mean,
agreed.
And beat Arkansas and Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I mean, he's done so much with not.
Should have won a national championship, but we're not going to go there.
And I think now, I think he's sitting 21 victories away from 1,000 career victories at state. Now, this is also a man that just got elected into the New Mexico State Baseball Hall of Fame. I think it was.
Yep.
So, I mean, this guy's a proven winner. I mean, he's been at state now, I want to say 28, 29 years, something like that.
He was his first season was 97, so 27 years.
Yeah, so 27. Okay, so I was off by a year, but look, he's the epitome of a state guy. He's someone that just literally bleeds red and white. And look, the man has won over 1,000 ball games in his career. He's probably forgotten a lot of baseball more than what people know to begin with. So I'm not going to question the man. Now, we as fans can be frustrated, and I think as a paying season ticket holder, I can be frustrated with the product on the field, but I still think that this is a team that can still make some noise. We just have to figure it out in a hurry, because like you said, it's not getting any easier.
No. I mean, I think everybody, look at who we had last season. I think everybody's just expecting somebody to come out like, sorry, I'm mentioning his name, but like a Tommy White. So it's like, that's not going to happen every season. So it's like, people need to just relax. You can be frustrated, but don't hate on the coach.
No.
Or the players. I mean, they're out there busting their tail. So I do think, look, we've seen what this team can do. I mean, they put up 12 runs against Boston College on the first game of the doubleheader. They can compete. They need to get the mental side of it right. They just got to get mentally tough. And I feel like that's maybe where they're struggling a little bit. Physically, they have all the tools to go out there and compete with the best teams. I have no doubt about that.
And there's 7 ACC series remaining, so
7,
plenty of opportunity.
Yep. And the other thing which I'll throw in there too is that, again, right now for NC State baseball, you have a perfect road for the next 5 to 10 years. Basically, you have it all set up that we're going to get Doak Field's going to get a beautiful upgrade. You got Avon sitting for next couple of years, however long his contract goes, but then it's pretty much unofficial that Chris Hart will take over as the head coach once Avon leaves. And I mean, he's been arguably one of the best assistant coaches in all of college baseball for a while. And again, look at how much talent they've been able to bring. I mean, again, Trey Turner, who we're going to talk about, I mean, he came with Carlos Rodon in the old Doak Field when when you got Arkansas with their crazy stadiums. You have, like, again, there's so many options, but yet even these guys are able to bring these guys to Raleigh, and we're able to develop them into superstars in the major league level. So yeah, no, if you're a State fan, you're not going to do anything with baseball right now. Avent's going to leave whenever he's ready, and then Coach Hart's going to take over, and it's going to continue to be top 10, top 25, touching that every single year. And eventually we are going to get that championship. And I pray to God that it happens with Avent, because he deserves one. There's another guy that we're going to be talking about here in 1 second that also deserves one, but definitely, we'll see what happens. So stay tuned. Hit the not panic button for NC State baseball. All right. So, but also I got to bring up Bart Brown Law's comment right here saying right now ACC is murderer's row when it comes to NC State baseball, and I could not agree more. ACC baseball right now is absolutely ridiculous. It's unreal.
This is another case where the Atlantic division is much better than the Coastal division.
Shocker.
Shocker.
If you're,
that never happens.
If you're an Atlantic division team, your crossovers, especially for State. Now, we did get the short end of the crossovers this year because we ended up with obviously Carolina, Virginia, and Miami. And Pitt. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. So other than Pitt, those other ones are pretty much ranked. I don't know if Carolina still is ranked. They were struggling a week or two ago. But yeah, we got no favors in the scheduling department. So, but you got to go out and play the games, and you got to find a way.
And it starts with tomorrow. I mean, UNCG has, historically had a solid program for a long time. So, I mean,
we just played them, and it was tough a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So, again, it's back to the grindstone tomorrow. Got to figure it out. Got to get a big win and then get ready for next weekend. So, for Louisville, which I do want to go ahead and give a shout out to that. So, we play Louisville this weekend at home, April 2nd, which the game is at noon. Right after the game, they're going to be hosting Meet the Pack Day for baseball, and we'll be there, and there'll be a bunch of vendors and all that jazz set up there. So make sure, if you can, to come out. Again, the game is at noon on Sunday at Doak Field versus Louisville. Come for the game and then stay after to get autographs and pictures with all your favorite players and coaches. And again, we'll be there. So again, very, very excited for that. So make sure to check that out. And then, so let's go ahead because we have a lot of tweets of the week to get to. So we're going to jump right on over to Tuffy's tweets of the week. All right. I don't think that, we have to start here. It's simple as that. For those listening right now, this is the tweet announcing that Coach Doran and his wife, Sarah Doran, donated $1.25 million to the university to start a program that will support students with special needs. And,
makes my heart happy. I love them.
And just a little bit of insight for those that maybe don't know or maybe forgot. Obviously, the Dorans do have one son who is special needs. And so it's definitely some which that hits very, closer to heart and, close to home for them. But they've always been so supportive, with the Victory Day, during camp time, during fall camp time, with Gigi's Playhouse, which is always awesome. I had an opportunity to cover it last year. It was amazing.
They just posted something with Gigi's, I think yesterday or Saturday too.
I know.
They had an event.
Yep, and there's some kind of announcement on March 28th, which not exactly sure what that is, but
can we speculate for a second?
What do you think?
Go ahead. I have no clue what it is. No clue.
Yeah, just so I watched the video a couple of times. I think it's going to be something with 321 Coffee, obviously, which is a big, another business that works with adults that have special needs. Mm-hmm. And then the barista, I can't remember the guy's name. I think what was that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I think they're featuring him on some kind of product, some kind of maybe cup, something, and the proceeds are going to go towards this scholarship fund. That's what I'm just.
Well, and you know what it probably is because typically for the spring game they partner with Gigi's Playhouse, so probably he's probably on like the the marketing
Program,
poster
maybe.
or something. Yeah. So, I think it's
whatever
really,
it is.
really
it's cool. Like, I mean, you saw that kid, young guy, his face lit up, and he was like, "No way," you know. So
that's crazy.
I'm definitely excited, and whatever it is, I will be supporting it wholeheartedly. So I'm excited to see what it is. I think that's tomorrow, right?
March 28th. Yep, that's tomorrow.
28th is tomorrow. Yeah.
So anyway,
we'll see. Stay tuned. But again, just can't say enough though about Coach Doran and his wife and his family. I mean, just to me, in my opinion, with Doran, he also too, the only thing you can say about him is he hasn't won a championship. But everything else in terms of, I mean, he wins at home. He's only had one loss in 2 years at home, the last 2 seasons. I mean, he's a country boy inside and out. He hates Carolina just as much as we do, if not more. Like again, he's one of us. Like, he's awesome. Again, he brings in great assistant coaches every single year. It's obvious that he's brought excitement and energy to the program. I mean, you see that with the new scoreboard, the new sound system, the Tuffy's Terrace, sellout after sellout after sellout every single year.
Minimal transfers in the program.
Very minimal.
Like, it wasn't like a mass.
The least.
Yeah, NFL talent every year.
I mean, again,
he would have an ACC championship if we were actually on the crappy side of the ACC. So it's like
at least playing for one, but
right?
He'll be at least playing for one, 100%.
It's kind of hard when you're going up against a real team. So
the other thing I kind of want to say about this tweet is, and I kind of tweeted it out on my own, is he not only sets the example for his players, he is the example. Right. And so that is like the biggest takeaway for me is he's going to walk the walk and talk the talk. He's not going to be like, oh, I want you to be this guy, but just kidding. But
like what Greg told me about Luke going up to him at one of the games saying that the family was praying for me and mom. Like, it's just stuff like that. Like, he is extremely heartfelt and cares about the fans, and he treats us. He doesn't treat us as like people that pay him. Like, he treats us as actual people that he supports and cares for. And I love having him as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, when I broke my leg, the way he reached out with the players, he didn't have to do that. I'm just some schmuck that broke his leg, so it's much appreciated. But to your point, Ken, it starts at home, and he carries that over with his children to respect one another, and then he's put that on his players too. So I have nothing but the highest admiration for Coach.
Yeah. I mean, I would be shocked if there were many other coaches that were donating over $1 million to their schools out of their own pocket. You'll see coaches all the time do fundraisers and stuff, but that's usually not coming out of their own pocket.
To donate $1.25 million,
it's incredible.
That's a good chunk of his annual salary. So I mean,
and the fact that's not talk about he's donating the money; it's what he's donating the money for, right? Because like Clemson has a program that's very similar to this that that Debbie Antonelli's son went through, and so it's.
Go ahead, finish.
No, I was just going to say it's giving folks that are undervalued at times in our society. It's giving them a chance to have self-worth and to live their best life. And I think that's an amazing thing that we're not seeing a lot of in today's society. So again, I can't say enough about it.
My thing is the way that how big mental health is right now. I mean, that much money being donated to, and especially at state this year, like the amount of stories coming out of state this year is crazy.
They just had Giving Day. What was it? $37 million almost raised. In 24 hours.
Unbelievable.
That's incredible.
So it's like not only are the fans and the students and everybody supporting it, like our own coaches understand how mental health is for, like, they're not just looking at the athletes, they're looking at the entire university as a whole. And I respect that. Respect the hell out of that.
100%. Yep. No, and definitely, again, just can't say enough about, again, Doran's ability, even as a coach. Again, I think we've said plenty in the last 2 minutes about him as a person, but
we love you,
again,
Dave.
Yeah, him as a coach. Again, I mean, this guy develops. He does a great job being a player's coach. It just I can't say enough. Again, it definitely hits home with me being a former equipment manager, being a part of the program, that I couldn't be more proud having this guy as our head ball coach. And definitely, just like Rusty says, Doran likes to fish and wear cowboy boots. My kind of guy. I mean, again, he is one of us. He wouldn't work at UNC. Like he
recruiting Peyton Wilson won me over. How I heard about that. How he just pulled up in his pickup truck.
Well, yeah, Huxtable playing country music. I mean,
that's the best thing I've ever heard.
I mean, this amazing gift even proves that not Salty Dave is amazing. Everybody loves Salty Dave, but even non-Salty Dave is cool. So
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, that's a toss up. I love Salty Dave.
Yeah. And Nick says NC State is a family, not just a university. Absolutely, 100%. Wolfpack Nation is a family, 100%, no doubt about it. So yeah, definitely huge shout out. Yeah. And by the way, too, excited for football. I'm sure if you're a State fan, you've probably seen stuff all over Twitter, and if you follow, one of the insiders. I mean, heard a lot of great stuff about Kevin Concepcion, the true freshman. He's really lit it up in spring ball. Now, whether that means he'll get a lot of snaps come the fall, don't know, because I'll go ahead and preface that by saying we also heard last fall or spring that Julian Gray was looking really, really good, but then we didn't really see him that much. So again, it's just all speculation, but it's good to hear that one of our big time commits for this previous class has apparently paid off so far in camp, which is awesome to see. And it'll be exciting to see Brandon Armstrong in NC State uniform. I've seen pictures, but to actually see him play in an NC State uniform, knowing that I've seen him for the last 3 years in the Virginia uniform, it's going to be a mind blowing for sure. Yeah, it's going to be surreal, to say the least. Don't worry, Justin. I already said don't panic on Pac-9. Sorry, go ahead, Greg.
No, I was just gonna say my favorite tweets right now are just seeing the scoreboard updates. Like that's just getting me excited.
I know it's gone now. It's gone.
Right, but now they have the new stanchions in place. They have the framework there, so it's going to be interesting because you kind of see the footprint starting to develop. Right, those are just the stanchions, but it's going to go out past that. Like because. So
I'm so ready for that because then that poor scoreboard.
The poor pixels, they deserve better.
That aggravated me so much.
They were struggling.
Yeah,
they really were.
I'm really looking forward to seeing it start to take shape. And having gone to Clemson last year to see how massive that scoreboard was and how ours is going to be comparable.
Even bigger. Yeah.
Whew.
So spring game is April 8th, right?
Yep.
April 8th. Yep.
It's not going to be done in time for that, right?
No. Again,
they need to.
They literally.
I say, Layton, you have some inside information on this.
Yeah, don't be surprised if literally the Friday before that first game against Notre Dame, right?
Yep.
Notre Dame. That Friday before, literally all the way through midnight, that they're working. Like literally, they are working about.
They're
working, I think, 5 or 6 days a week. But then they said that if that they have basically a deadline that if they don't hit certain points by this time, they're going to do 7 days a week to make sure it's on time. So it's no.
All I'm saying is it better not be like the day that we showed off the red lights because the power went out and we all had to exit the stadium. So take your time and fix it.
Yeah, make sure
that game almost got canceled
for the student section, having to go back to our seats that we were in.
Yeah, that game that the red lights, they were 5 minutes away from canceling that game. That's how close it was.
Right?
Yeah.
Florida State or Texas A&M?
Yeah.
I think so.
Or Texas Tech.
State.
I felt so bad for the security up there because all the students, we were like, we're getting our front row seats.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, all right, it's a toss up. So the amount of, I'm surprised somebody didn't get hurt that game.
Yeah.
Bart, I mean, definitely it'll be exciting to see what Coach and I, his offense, and he's funny. Like I don't, if you haven't heard one of his press conferences, he's funny. Like every single time he answers a question, starting off like he's like shocked, almost like
yeah, it's like,
wait, you're asking about my offense? Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be a good offense. Yeah, no, it's
I like it because of his laid back Hawaiian attitude. It's like
he's very
so
chill.
Just chill. Just he's like he just came off the beach, man. Yeah, man, good waves today.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Coach.
He reminds me so much of Trent. Like I know him and Trent are the same person at practice because they have so much to bond over. It's crazy.
Well, and of course, I heard in Trent, they interviewed Trent, and apparently Trent's really loved the offense so far. So,
and in that interview, he said that Coach and I told him he was going to make him an All-American. So,
isn't if we could just take this and peel this for a second, it's going to be super interesting because before all of these moves were made, we just kind of assumed it would be a good offense, but now you start to hear these guys talking, and they've gotten into getting some reps, and I'm bullish on the offense. I think it could be like, say what?
Well, again, I mean, Coach and I has made it very clear that we have the weapons here to be one of the best offenses in the ACC. I mean, so
and so much speed on the outside, like the wide receivers. There's so much speed to have there, and I think maybe just changing the coordinators is going to change everything about this team. Yeah, the complete dynamics of it.
Yeah, the players are also going to have to step up, especially that. Somebody on the outside, because I mean, whether it's Anthony Smith or Terrell Timmons or Dakari Collins, I don't know. It's just, it's just.
There's still question marks. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I think they'll obviously be improved from last year, but it's just.
I feel like
to go all in and on that.
I just think schematically you're gonna get. And this is no slight on Tim Beck. Like I thought Tim Beck did some things very well, and then other things were just complete head scratchers. But I think Leighton, that was awesome. I think you're going to get more out of your players, that you're going to be playing to their strengths and not kind of forcing your offense down their throat. I think you're going to adapt your offense to more of the players that you have, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Again, to me, to kind of wrap it up with Beck, it was what's a quote that still stands out to me is when Ken Gibbs from Lockdown Wolfpack at the time, who was running that account, said, "Don't forget who brought you to the dance." And to me, it's all about, like, there's no reason why Thayer Thomas was not getting 10 targets a game last year.
Right.
Every single game. Like, he was getting thrown like crazy. Why? Because, again, I mean, he was the guy for our offense last year. There was no, like, anybody even in his realm of playmaking besides the quarterback. So, like, why was he not just getting force fed in terms of, like, rub routes or whatever it took to get him
whoever was having the game, whoever's having a good day, just keep targeting him until they figure it out. Right. Keep going after it until the other team figures it out. Because here's the thing. You can run the same play 3 or 4 times just in different directions, and they don't stop it. So why would you go to a different play? So
100%. Yeah. So I'm excited about the running back position. I think it's having Demi and having Jordan Houston, and then the third guy, Michael Allen.
Michael Allen's going to be a weapon this year. Yep. He's a beast.
Yeah, and again, we'll do more.
I'm so excited for football.
We'll probably do kind of like a recap probably after the spring game. So make sure to heads up for that. And also too, just FYI too, that we also recorded a wrestling season recap, and that will be our episodes this week with Nigel Jones, former in-state wrestler. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And also too, hey, if you don't want to miss out on that, hit that subscribe button, notification bell. And so we do not miss out whenever those episodes do go out this week. So anyway, I want to make sure to kind of touch on some of these. Aiden, don't worry. We'll definitely talk about Miami. That is up next. Michelle says very excited about the coaching changes on the offensive side of the ball. 100%. Very, very excited about an eye. And 2J, man, dude, 2J has absolutely been killing it on the recruiting trail. I've heard all kinds of good things about him, which is awesome to say. Russell says Proctor staying in Durham, love leaving Chapel Hole. Tobacco Road looks different next year. Proctor,
Tyrese Proctor, their point guard.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. We'll talk about that too for sure. So again, excited about football this year. But now jumping on over to some basketball. So I feel like we got to start off with this. So this is a quote from Isaiah Wong, who is the ACC Player of the Year from Miami, starting point guard from Miami, who said, "I would just say I thank the ACC for preparing us for these type of games. Just coming in, every game we played in the ACC is always a close game. It's always a shot to win. I feel like coming into March, we'd be in this type of situations. We weren't afraid or scared of any situation. We just stuck together and played together throughout the game. I would just say I appreciate the ACC for the competition." So,
you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Exactly. and I love all of.
We beat a Final Four team, so
just saying.
That's how I look at it.
And we could have beat them twice.
Right?
Yeah, we almost beat them twice. Yeah, we should have beaten twice. It just goes back to say, I mean, the ACC is not as bad of a state as everybody originally maybe thought. Just looking at the fact that, I mean, and we'll show a stat here in a little bit, but
yeah, you're probably going to show the one I was going to mention, so I'll hold off on that comment. But,
yeah. Well, go ahead, Michael. Give us your thoughts while I find that one.
Well, I don't know. It might be another one you have, but it wasn't like for all the upsets in the tournament. No 1 seeds making the Elite Eight. Miami went through the hardest seeds that their path could have taken. Right? They beat the 12 in their first game, then they beat Indiana, who was the 4, then they beat Houston, who was the 1, and then Texas, who was the 2. So they didn't get lucky with upsets.
Right.
They just
unlike
better.
San Diego State. Right.
Right.
Well, they did beat Alabama.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
FAU is a little better.
Yeah, that's probably that is a better example.
Purdue. But
correct.
Yeah, like that. They just were flat out better than every single team they played. I said it at the end of the season. I think me and Macon did the ACC tournament preview, and I was pretty adamant that Miami was by far the best team, and I picked them to win, but they lost to Duke because what's his face, Norchad Omier went down, so that obviously impacted them not winning. But I thought they were by far the best team in the ACC this year, and
I mean,
Larranaga
is the best second half team or second half coach in the country. Like, there's no question about it. Like he really, like I saw a tweet saying that, and then about the ACC is like the ACC in basketball is what the SEC is in football. They may not win it every year, but like we're those top.
They're going to be in it.
I mean, the ACC is the only Power 5 conference still left.
That's what I'm saying. And like,
well, and so that's this.
Is that the one?
Next, that's one of them. Yeah.
More or less.
Conferences represented. That there's no SEC, no Big 10, no Big 12, no Pac-12, ACC. Check, we're in it.
I mean, SEC and Big 10 went out pretty early too.
Yeah. And again, I mean, Miami, and Michelle says it here, saying Miami has earned the Final Four spot. Like, it wasn't a fluke. Miami straight out just outplayed everybody. Like,
they were the ACC regular season champs, and like you said, Michael, they could have won the tournament too. I thought they were the most consistent ACC team throughout the whole season. They were, in the top 3.
They had
the entire time.
Their starting 5 was healthy the whole season, and
so the one, Michael, you're talking about, and the one that I thought I had, but unfortunately I forgot about because there's so many freaking tweets of the week this week. But I will say it. So in the last 2 NCAA tournaments, there have been 3 teams from the ACC in the Final Four, and 3 teams in the Final Four for the Big East, the Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, and SEC. But we had 10 bids in the last 2 tournaments. The Big East, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, and SEC combined had 62. So literally over 6 times more bids than we did, and we both have the same amount of appearances in the Final Four. So,
do you have the tweet I sent in about Jim Phillips meeting with the basketball coaches here in the next week or so?
I do. Yeah, give me a second.
No, you're good, because I think that's a really important, and we can talk about that one right there.
Yeah,
this is an important piece right here, and if anybody wants to talk about it first, they can, but. Basically the gist of this art. Go ahead, Leighton, if you got.
Well, I was going to read out loud, and then you can kind of give your kind of synopsis.
Please. Yeah.
So basically, this tweet is from Andrea Adelson, who says AC Commissioner Jim Phillips told me the league needs to be more aggressive and proactive about changing the men's basketball narrative. So he will meet with the coaches and athletic directors as soon as the season ends. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah. So basically, in the article, he's just. And a lot of people have had this very same talk about like the 20 game conference schedule really hurts. You got teams beating up on each other. He kind of talks about the net being kind of overvaluated. The one thing I will say, it's true. If nothing else, the net has proven. Yeah, exactly. I saw that tweet too. That you go out and play games, it almost sounds like you just schedule games to schedule them. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose, but you get the net points, right? And that's really now you still have to win you have to win your fair share of games, but we saw where teams like Ohio State were still high in the net and they didn't win a game for a month and a half. So it doesn't, it doesn't really make sense. So I think what you're going to see is in these meetings with Jim Phillips and the coaches, you're going to probably see a lot of things put on the table, and you may see some things change next year. Obviously, we've gone away from the Big Ten ACC Challenge. That's now the SEC Challenge.
That'll help.
I think it will help to some, but the Big Ten was getting just as many bids as the SEC. So I don't know if the perception is going to be any different in that regard. I think the really big takeaway you're going to have is that 20 game schedule. And maybe you take that 20 games, maybe you reduce it to 16, 18, whatever it is. And then you go schedule 1 or 2 good out of conference opponents that will improve your net.
Yeah. But I think that's going to be the biggest kind of action from that meeting is to improve your scheduling. Like, and that doesn't mean you have to go out and schedule top 25 teams.
Right.
It means avoiding the bottom, the 250 plus teams that are in the net, because that's how the Mountain West got 4 teams in, because if you look at those teams, those 4 teams are out of conference. None of them played like teams that were higher than like 200. And that really makes a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. You go schedule those good mid-majors. Now, we tried to do that a little bit, knowing that we didn't know what we had in our team. Like, we went on scheduled Dayton and we got Butler and some of those other teams. Go ahead.
Even that, like Dayton, that was like a tough scheduling because they were favored to win their league. It's the Coppin State who's 320 in the net. Go schedule somebody who's 190, who you'll still probably beat easily, but there's a big difference between that.
Exactly.
Yep. Schedule a winnable game, but more favorable in the rankings. Again, and I know like a lot of NC State fans will say like, we want to go see good competition come to PNC. I don't want to play Kansas on a neutral floor in the Bahamas where no one is able to go to see the game, or even a Vanderbilt that's played in Chicago. Bring those opponents, do a home and home, a 2-1, whatever the case is. Get those opponents to PNC. Get them to a home floor. Now I get it. Here's the other flip side of that stupid net. You actually are better playing on neutral courts on these
court. Yeah,
correct. So it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
So
again, net is a joke. I think that's been pretty much the overwhelming synopsis about it. But go ahead, Michael.
That does go back to your point, Greg, about lessening the conference schedule. You can add in a couple more out of conference games, so you do have some good quality opponents at home, but you can still schedule a few more quality opponents on the road or at a neutral site.
Sure.
But I just do want to remind everybody that your Final Four this year is not Kansas, Duke, UConn, and Kansas. It's literally UConn, which is that's
a little bit of a blue blood.
A little bit of a blue blood for sure. Yeah, for sure. But then you got San Diego State, Florida Atlantic University, and Miami. Like, that's to me, I love it. Now again, now I think it's absolutely like it was already impossible to pick a perfect bracket. Now it's absolutely.
Did anyone have a Final Four team?
I had State winning it all, so
shocker.
So my bracket was done.
The best I did was Texas. The best I did. I had Texas and Miami in the Elite Eight, but I also had
Houston in the Final Four.
Here's the funny thing. I bet you. Now I'm not talking to diehard sports fans because I think we all could answer these questions. Do you think anyone knows what Florida Atlantic's mascot is before this, or San Diego State? Probably not. Most people.
Just the casual watcher of college basketball.
Right.
It's just so unique, right? Because they're not their traditional. But the point being, these aren't traditional teams that are in your Final Four.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not like you have one of them
either.
well, like 5 years ago, again, I was down with my wife when she was still a student at South Carolina. So I was there when they made it to the Final Four, and so like ever so often you may have like that one team that hasn't been there in a while that will make it. But you have 3 teams this year, 3 teams that have they ever made it to a Final Four? Like that's crazy.
San Diego
State, maybe.
No. I know they had Fisher.
They're the first Mountain West team to make it to the Final Four.
Wow. So, 3 teams that literally have never made it to a Final Four make it in
Florida
the same
Atlantic
year.
just won their first ever NCAA game last week.
I know. I know. Yeah. So, again, it's to me, I love it. Like everybody was saying, everybody who's saying, well, it's always the same teams. Like, that's the biggest complaint about the college football playoff. It's always the same teams. Well, guess what? Now this year in college basketball, that is not the case, my friend. That is not the case.
I mean, Miami's only one. Yeah, Miami's the only Power 5 team. We already mentioned that. Like you have teams where they just don't compete at that level on a normal basis. Like I said, other than Connecticut, they've won, I think, like 3 or 4 national championships. So,
and that's all in the last 25 years. I think they won 4 in the last 25 years.
Yeah.
Now, 2 points which I want to make. First of all, to kind of prove about the bracket thing, is typically, I would say even before this year, pretty much probably everybody or a lot or most people, let's say even 6 years ago, most people do 16 versus 1. All right, the number 1 seed is making it through. Like not even like thinking about it, not even like wasting a half a second considering it. Now that's happened twice in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Most people are probably going to wait for maybe half a second to think about it, being like, is it guaranteed? No. Like, I mean,
that's still a 99% bet
but still,
that Purdue game, dude, that Purdue game was pure luck because you had the tallest team in the NCAA losing to the shortest team. So it's like you could have never sat there and been like, oh yeah, they're good. Like, there's no way.
It happened 0 times in like what 80, 100 years or so, whatever of college basketball or whatever it is, a long time. In the history of this double tournament, it's happened 0 times.
Well, I mean, in the last 30, 40 years, because remember the tournament expanded like in the mid to late 80s. So you're talking 35, 40 years.
Right.
But your point.
In the history of basketball, it's never happened except for the last 5 years. It's happened twice. Like that's crazy. So, and just to prove it too, another tweet which stood out to me too is that for the Elite 8, the starters were made up of 19 transfers, 16 seniors, 1 true freshman.
It was an interesting mix because you win with experience, but you also win with. I guess some of those transfers could have been seniors, so that's a little.
Yeah, but see, with the transfers are team or players with teams that haven't been there very long, where they don't have a cohesive 3 to 4 year run like you see a lot of those mid-major teams do. So, but with that being said, everyone complains about the transfers and the portal. That just goes to show that that's a viable piece of the game in the equation. Like you have to rebuild on the fly or retool on the fly. You can't sit back and wait. You have to go out and grab early.
100%.
It's good. It's going to be interesting, and I don't know if we're going to talk about any of the transfers here in the next couple of tweets, but
there's some
interesting ones out there. Yeah.
Yep, 100%. Just to kind of touch on a couple of comments here. I did got a shout out to Infinite Hates one saying, "How about changing the officiating in the ACC, which is blatantly favored Duke and UNC over the past 10, 20 years?"
It's funny. She says that. That's when they were talking about Jim Phillips meeting with the basketball coaches. A lot of people on Twitter were like, well, why don't you stop making Duke and Carolina the damn priority? There's 13 other teams in the conference. Why don't you showcase them and fight for them to get bids? So,
well, again, just go ahead and just know that during that meeting, at least one coach or athletic director will bring it up, and then every single coach and AD will jump right behind it. Like it's going to get brought up.
I mean, you have the ACC network, which stands for All Carolina Channel. I mean, it's ridiculous how much they feature them. It's.
I agree. I haven't heard that one. And then Aiden saying, "I want to say the winner of the UConn and Miami game will win it all, but there's been too many upsets to say that."
Yeah.
Again,
it's the perfect way to sum it up.
Literally, and I think I may have said this on the last live show, but if not, just as a reminder. Basically, I saw on TikTok that there was a guy who last year.
Oh gosh, we're getting information from TikTok.
Well, hey,
it's a good
who he would bet $100 on every single upset, and last year mostly because of the one team who made it to the Sweet 16. I'm totally blanking now, but basically he won over $1,600 betting on the upsets. This year alone, he's up over $2,300 on upsets this year.
That's insane.
Like it's It's crazy how many. I would be interested to know how many favorites actually covered in the tournament so far. It probably hasn't been too many. Like every single game. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Creighton. Oh, St. Peter's. Thank you, Nick. Yep, St. Peter's.
Yeah.
Yes, the Peacocks.
The fighting Peacocks. Yeah, that's
right.
Peacocks.
Hey, I couldn't have told you what they were until last year.
Right.
Heck no.
They beat Purdue last year too.
They did.
They lost to a 15 last year and a 16 this year.
Yeah. No,
and we talk about cheats on the hot seat.
Well, you're definitely he's on a weird seat. I don't even know what kind of seat you would put him on.
Yeah,
he's not on a hot seat, but he's like on a what the heck is going on seat. Like,
and again, you could almost make the same argument for Tony Bennett had he not won that championship. He's lost to a lot of underdog teams.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Hey, Joe Gilio and Jovies, go and check it out. 99.9. They had a great conversation about this, about how Tony Bennett arguably is one of the worst March coaches in basketball, because if you take away the worst year, which is losing to the 16, and the best year, which is winning the national championship, he's gotten knocked out in the first round every single year.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. But I want to kind of jump on here to the next one. So bringing up here how there's been a couple of new transfers, whose names have been brought up recently. Arizona State transfer DJ Horn, who's heard from NC State, and then Western Kentucky transfer Davion McKnight, who's with Arkansas, who also had a Zoom call with NC State, on top of Dontrez Styles from UNC, and then the transfer from Temple. Done from Temple. Temple.
Triple.
Yeah. And I mean, I would say from everything I've seen, that, I mean, it seems like it's more of not a if, but when for Dontrez, honestly. And then even with Dunn too, I would probably put it in the same category too. It's not a matter of if, but a when.
Well, and then, we had Ryan on last week, and they're supposedly related, some kind of cousins thing, if you remember. That's what Ryan was saying. Mm-hmm. And then DJ Horn, there's some Raleigh. He's from Raleigh. DJ Horn
from Raleigh.
Yeah.
And then
didn't Justice recruit him to Arizona State?
Yep. Came from Arizona State.
Yep. So again, it's there's a lot of names, and again, haven't really heard anything about the women's side. Has anybody heard anything about the women's side?
No, nothing.
Not as much coverage on that. Too.
Yeah.
But
kind of true.
I'm surprised we haven't heard more anybody else transferring out from the women's side.
From the women's, yeah. I mean, really the only thing that I would expect, that, again, not saying anything is imminent. We have no inside information. The only one that I really would maybe put any kind of money on would be Isaiah James, just because everyone else has to sit out. Now, you could see Jakia Brown-Turner transfer out. She wouldn't have to sit, one, because she's a grad, and two, she hasn't transferred before. But anyone else, like people were talking about Diamond's not going anywhere, not until she graduates. No, because that's the only next available window for her to transfer in. River Baldwin just kind of came in as a grad transfer. I don't know. Now, the one thing I don't know how the rules work, because you get that one freebie and then you get your grad transfer. I'm not sure if you can do another transfer after your grad transfer if you haven't used your first one. Like that gets a little muddy. I don't know if that's a thing, if you can even do it. But that being said, there's just not a lot of teams out. I mean, not a lot of players out there right now that could qualify.
If you're a grad transfer, wouldn't you only have 1 year left?
Yeah.
No, because remember
COVID.
Well, remember Ben Finley came in as a grad transfer for football. Now I'm talking two different sports, and he played here 3 years. Ryan Finley. What did I say? Ben? Did I say Ben?
Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan Finley. My apologies.
It's like, good Lord, he's been in there for a hot minute.
Yeah, he's been here.
I guess if you graduate in 2 years, then you're technically grad transfer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But again, I don't know. Like, that's crazy. Like, way down. I don't even know. Like I said, if that's even a thing. Yeah. But yeah, I just don't. Other than we've already heard from Camille, and then Sophie transferred, and Jessica Timmons transferred.
Yeah. That is true. The ones that we're going to already did it during the season.
Yeah, so I don't really think there's anything out there right now for the women. Again, like I said, other than Jakia. she's really the only other person that I see in this cycle.
Yeah. But again, to me, it just is, Wes Moore knows that he needs to get back for not, and when I say needs, not like if he doesn't do it, like that he's fired. No, it's just like for his own expectations, for the expectations he has gotten this program to. We need to get back competing in games. Like we need to be playing tonight. Like we need to be playing in the Elite Eight. Like that's where we need to be. Jada Boyd is done. Isn't she?
She's done.
Okay, yeah. Christian Jones just put that in the comments, but I was like, Jada's done. Yeah. And by the way, Christian says, Kens, I need your autograph, by the way.
I got you, Christian.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But definitely again excited about what the women's basketball team will bring. And then from the men's side, I don't know if you guys saw this either, but breaking news that junior DJ Burns has entered the transfer portal. Burns is 6'7" forward, averaged 8.7 points a game, and has officially entered the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Sorry, he's from Murray State. Sorry, not NC State. Murray State junior DJ Burns is sent the transfer portal.
I'd take that one too. I'd have a double burn.
You put him at the 4.
Double burn.
We don't have Jack Clark.
That would be great.
Do a double
Dude,
DJ
oh
Burns
my God.
Like he's a good player. He's a pretty good player. Like,
and you know what, Keith should just call the DJ Burns from Murray State and be like, hey. Like imagine coming to play and starting at 4, DJ Burns, and starting at center, DJ Burns.
Can you imagine like Burns to Burns double burn combo?
Yeah. Burns passes to Burns, who lobs it to Burns, and Burns slams it. Yeah.
All I could just see is that meme from Ashton Kutcher from that 70s show that goes burn. Like just every time they got a basket, you just see that.
Yeah.
The more DJ Burns, the better. That's
And we'll spend an absolute half second on this, but obviously another big piece of news that has come out recently is the return of RJ Davis and Ewens and the Armando Baycott, and then Caleb Love left. To me, to me, I'm like, okay, cool. Congratulations. But
Armando Baycott, DJ's just gonna be his daddy again. So all right.
I'm just like,
bro, I'm on what's that show? Ocean City?
Outer Banks.
That's what it's called. Yeah.
He has one word. He literally has one word.
I don't even know where the Outer Banks is at.
He says money. That's it. And he's a bouncer.
Well, and
that was probably the extent of his vocabulary. Money.
That's what Mom said. They had to find a good actor, so they went to UNC, and then they said he probably couldn't memorize that many lines.
Now,
I took that in acting class with my AFRAM.
Yeah. Now I do think he's crazy for the fact that, and I think it kind of says not such a good sign that literally Armando Baycott says, "Hey, if you want to play for UNC, DM me." I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. The big time blue blood UNC, one of their players has to tweet out saying, "Hey, if you want to come play for UNC, come DM us." It's like,
if you want to come decline an NIT invite, come play with us.
Well, first of all, I'm saying, why do you need to do that? But also, too, secondly, it's like, I feel bad for whoever's running his Twitter account because holy smokes, I'm sure it got blown to smithereens.
Oh, he's definitely running his own.
Well, okay, but I'm just saying. But
here's my thing: you already have the quote unquote #1 recruiting class coming in. Like, what else are you trying to bring in?
Yeah, and you got RJ back, and you're back. Like, it's like, what do you need? Like,
I'm just hoping Caleb Love goes somewhere far from the ACC because I cannot stand him, and I really hope
he can throw up some bricks against us again.
Oh my God! Did you guys see the Twitter? It took him 8 tries to
enter the portal.
8 tries.
Enter the portal. That's hilarious.
It's so hilarious.
All right.
I am disappointed that we will no longer get any inside information on the love triangle. So that was the offense they ran, was the love triangle and won. So
that's the tweet I saw. It said Deja Kelly reading this news.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We have officially gone off the rails.
But again, and so again, so now on to our next tweet of the week.
Piccolo girl.
Yeah, so for Piccolo girl.
Piccolo girl.
So today in Want to Feel Old, basically has a picture. It has the famous meme of the Piccolo girl from the Villanova NC State game back in 2015.
15, yeah.
15.
Yeah, 15.
When we beat number 1 seed Villanova, and Villanova's crying Piccolo girl from 2015. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's right there. Holy crap, I can't read. 2015 NCAA tournament is now Dr. Piccolo girl as an eye doctor in Virginia. That's
funny.
She practices in Hampton, Virginia. I'm already looking at getting an appointment.
That would be funny.
That would be the goat.
Greg, go to state
Greg.
and get the fat head of her, because they have a fat head of her that they hold
do.
up.
Can you sign this? Oh my god, dude, we should go to sign it. That would be the sickest thing ever.
Please
Dude.
do that.
I mean, if you do, we have to have her on.
We have to figure out how to do this. But I'm considering.
I will get you the fat head.
She is in my network, so
oh, nice.
I don't need glasses.
I've already checked the insurance policy. I can go.
Insurance.
All right, now we got a couple more to get through here before we wrap this up. But got to give a huge shout out to Darian C. Braun, who officially got transferred up to the big leagues, whatever. He got transferred up to the Pelicans. Yeah, well, whatever you want to call it, but from the G League, I guess, to the NBA. Yeah. With the New Orleans Pelicans, definitely excited to see what he can do. And again, just finally ready to see that guy ball and hopefully earn a spot finally in if it's not with the Pelicans, with somebody within the NBA.
So
right. He had like balls on him. 30-point triple-double the other night, which I'm sure is part of the reason they called him up. So it's awesome.
Didn't hurt.
Yeah, definitely didn't hurt. Now, got to also give a shout here. This tweet here from Henry Newell says, over the last decade, the NC State athletic department has been on fire. I'm not sure one changed. Does anybody have any ideas? And he actually tagged Debbie Yao. But basically, it's a graph of the number of NC State individual titles over the last well, it looks like it goes even back beyond. So it looks like it's all back to 1950. Yeah. But basically, it's just like an exponential line. It just goes up, and then just shoots up here in the last, let's see, 4 years. So
if you flip this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I see where you're going with this. Go ahead.
If you flip it upside down, it looks like UNC's win percentage.
I knew that was coming.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good. No, I knew where that was going, so I was like, yes, nope, please take it, young sir. Please take it.
Layton said, no, please go.
No, I know where you're going. Go ahead.
That was more assists than we had in the NCAA game.
Okay. See, why do you have to end it on a state joke?
Equal opportunity, my friend.
But Infinite Hate says talks up. Was it 3 individual titles in men's swimming over the weekend? Yeah, it was 3 men's, and then 1 or 2 women national champions as well over the weekend, who both placed 5th in the team standings.
And didn't they break a record?
They did.
NCAA record and the 200 medley.
Did y'all see that video?
Oh my god! I just saw it today for the first time. It was so good.
Oh, was it?
I loved it. The teammates watching it on TV.
Yeah, the team members that didn't travel. Yeah, if you want, I retweeted it today. But
oh, cool.
It was just they were. It was probably about 15-20 guys that didn't make the trip out. They're watching it, and then they're just excited, and then you see like the camera just starts shaking. Yeah, it goes crazy
when they figured out that they broke the record.
Yeah,
that's
good
sick
stuff. Did you see their times? Like the one dude swam it like 20 seconds. Another like in 22, 23, 19 and a half, and then like 18 and a half seconds. Like that is insane. Like they just got fast. The best part of that video is if you listen to the commentators, they're talking about the other team swimmers the whole time. And then all of a sudden there's like NC State, like they're just shooting by in lane 2. You didn't even hear one mention of the team. And then boom, national champion.
That's how it always is. Until we win, we get no credit.
Afterthought. Yep. Right. Nope. Now, again, I can't say enough. Just a reminder that we literally just had our men's and women's team finish in the top 5 in the country, and literally to go see one of their meets in the swim center beside Carmichael, it's free. It doesn't even literally cost you a penny in order to go see them compete.
Go do it.
Go do it, y'all. Like I can't say enough. Like go support these men and women. 100%.
I'm still trying to figure out the dive portion of that.
What do you mean?
Like
how does that get?
Yeah, because you never hear about anything about our divers.
Yeah,
boards and do flips and stuff.
Wow.
Oh, is that how they do it?
Okay.
They just jump off something. Got it. No, what I mean is you never hear them placing. So just speaking about the points, you always hear about the actual physical swimmers portion of the swimming and diving. So if we're still finishing fifth in the swimming and diving, just imagine how good our swimmers are, if that makes sense.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's true.
And again, I don't know enough about the sport. I'm just saying
in terms of scoring. I don't either.
Yeah, but you just never hear anything about the diving portion of NC State. You always hear about the swimming.
Yep. And I hear from time to time, but definitely not to the level of our swimmers. That's for sure.
Right.
No. Yeah. Agreed. So, definitely, again, can't say enough about go support all these teams, men's and women's tennis right now. Go support them right now. They're still going on along with NC State baseball and softball. Got to give a shout out to softball as well, that even though they lost their head coach and assistant coach, early in the season,
they've gone through a lot, but they
swept Boston College in their series. They're respectable right now, which again, with being two coaches short, hey, that's applaud. Got to applaud to that. Nothing else for sure. And then also want to give a shout out here as well that you may think, oh, it's cross country. We're talking about Caitlin Tui again, right? Nope. 3 records in 1 weekend. It wasn't enough. Allie Hayes picks up co-ACC Women's Track Performer of the Week honors for her performance in the 10K at Raleigh Relays. So, again, I know Infinite Hate has been blowing up the comments talking about
she
track
mentioned
and
last
field
week
and missed last week too. And just can't say enough right now. And we'll say it every single week for the rest of the time. But NC State Athletics is in an amazing spot right now. Wolfpack Nation needs to take advantage, support these men and women, and go do it. It doesn't take much, y'all. Go do it.
It doesn't cost much at all either. Way less.
Nope. I mean, again, a lot of these teams that we're talking about that are killing right now, it costs you a penny to go. So just go do it. Yep. And then lastly, got to give a shout out to our man, the myth, the legend himself, Trey Turner, for being named. Yes, and then you, Greg.
Greg, I hate you.
being named to the WBC All Tournament team. Trey's 5 home runs tied the record for a single WBC World Baseball Classic.
And I think they sent
he didn't play for the Nationals.
He doesn't play there anymore.
He doesn't.
The Phillies.
Oh my God, you're right. I hate the Phillies too, though.
You missed the Dodgers too in between there.
Oh my God, he's been at every team I cannot stand as a Braves fan. He really has.
And I think they ended up sending his cleats and his batting gloves to the Baseball Hall of Fame because of his performance that he had in the World Baseball Classic. So
he killed that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Again, y'all, just can't say enough. Like, there's no reason to panic right now at any level with any coach, with any sport right now. Just enjoy it. Just ride the journey with us, y'all. Like, it's never been a smooth journey being NC State fan. So, it's not a smooth journey now.
It never will be. But
it never will be. It is what it is. But that's why we're here. We're here to join, be along for the ride with you and talk about it for an hour a week. That's what we're here for. So. But anyway, any last final comments, y'all, before we wrap this thing up? Nope.
Women's tennis won last week.
Yep.
Again, tennis. I think they're number 5 or 6 in the country.
Yeah.
Yep. Beat Louisville this weekend. Somebody else too. So
men tennis unfortunately lost their first ACC game match this past weekend against Louisville.
4-3.
4-3. So it was close. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we pretty much covered it all. Men's baseball tomorrow, UNCG, big weekend series, Louisville. Just get out and support those guys. They need us more than ever. So
100%. And make sure, again, April 2nd, that's this Sunday. The game is at noon versus Louisville. Then right after is Meet the Pack Day. You'll have an opportunity to take pictures and get autographs with your favorite NC State Pac-9 players and coaches. And again, we'll be there, and there'll be vendors. It'll be a great time. So make sure to come and make sure to come enjoy the festivities. It's going to be awesome. And
real quick
for us,
on that,
go ahead, Greg.
There are standing room only tickets available for $10. So if people want to go, you can still go. It's $10 to stand. So
nice. Okay, great. And then also to make sure again that this week we'll be releasing our wrestling season recap episodes with former NC State wrestler Nigel Jones. So to make sure you don't miss out on that, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out whenever we release any new Tuffy Talk content. And also, too, if you enjoyed this conversation, hit that like button and let us know feedback, y'all. If you ever want, we always here to hear about things that you like, want more of, want less of. We always want feedback. So let us know. You can DM us. You can email us. Let us know any feedback that you have. And follow us Tuffy Talk now on Twitter and Instagram. But we really appreciate the support. Y'all are the best. We will see y'all soon. Go Pack, baby. We'll see y'all Sunday.